Okay, everybody, I want to talk about safety. So my day 4 Made for Makers challenge is about busting a myth. And I wanted to bust a myth a little bit about safety and safety equipment. So safety equipment, first and foremost, PPE, personal protective equipment, is very, very important. You should have some in the shop. If you're in the shop regularly, even if you're in the shop infrequently, you should have some basic PPE. It's just very important to the operation, the safe operation of a lot of tools. However, lately I feel like there's been a big push for, what makes a table saw safe is having the right push stick or the right jig or the right sled. What makes a chop saw safe is having the right hold down, or holder for the material. What makes, whatever tool safe is this jig, hold down, cover, guard, that makes that tool safe. And I just think that's a little bit of a myth, or at the very least, it's a little bit misleading. Because you make that operation safe by being safe and thinking through that operation. Now, I don't want you guys to be, scared or intimidated, and I'm certainly not at all knocking products like micro jig or saw stop or I think it's called like the 11th finger for like the chop saw. Those are all very, very good products, but those products don't make that tool safe. They help you as an operator of that tool be safer much easier or much more confident or lowers the risk. But you are the person that decides how safe you're going to be with that tool. And there's a lot of ways to be safe without those tools. And there's a lot of ways to be safe with even old, less safe equipment. But it all comes down to your knowledge of the tool, your knowledge of the material. And don't let that be intimidating. Sometimes it seems like a lot of work to learn everything there is to learn about a tool or a piece of equipment, and it might be, but you have to have the patience with yourself, both with how fast you learn, how fast you absorb material, and how fast you're willing to learn stuff. Because, maybe you got to watch something 2 times, maybe you have to find 20 examples, but your knowledge of how that material interacts with that tool is what's going to keep you safe a lot more and a lot more consistently than relying on whether or not something is a saw stop, a micro jig, the hold down for the chop saw. So it may not be a great myth, it may not be a full myth, but that's just something that I've noticed and is important to me, especially when I have people come into my shop and they learn how to use some of my tools, because I don't have the latest and greatest tools. I don't have the latest and greatest protective equipment, but I make sure that I show them how to operate it. I show them in the safest way possible. And if they're not confident, we try to use a different tool. Your ability to focus and your patience and your knowledge of that tool is much, much more important than a specific jig or a specific piece of guarding. So that's what I wanted to share. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.